Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Marquee Picks, and today I got the 2026 MLB Future Season Player Props and Predictions here for the 2026 MLB season. I cannot wait. We are finally here. MLB gets kicked off today, Wednesday. We only got one game here for opening day today. It's a little bit random. Usually MLB doesn't usually do this, but we got one game today for Wednesday. It's the Yankees and the Giants. That's what kicks off the MLB season today. So very excited. I am going to have another MLB video out for that game today. Probably have a couple props lined up for that game tonight. So make sure you guys turn those post notifications on so you get that video right when it drops. But for this video today, I got some of the season player props for the MLB season. Some of my predictions, some of my sleeper picks. We're not going to find out exactly what happens with these props, right away. This is going to be a 162 game season that we're going to be riding on here for these props today, but hopefully some of my leans, some of my predictions do turn out, but it's not going to be too long of a video here for this one, so let's go ahead and jump right into the 2026 MLB Future Player Props for today. So these are my predictions of what I like a lot for the players for this 2026 MLB season. Not going to keep this video too long for you guys, but again, wanted to get a little bit of an appetizer out for you guys for the MLB season because MLB, I would say, is probably my best sport. Love the MLB. I love watching it. So, very, very knowledgeable about the sport. Baseball is a very random sport. I understand that, but there is definitely props you can take advantage of that are pretty good spots to take here. But here's my season props here. First one's going to be Kyle Raleigh. I'm going to take his under 39.5 home run line for this season. Last year when Kyle Raleigh had that amazing season last year, absolutely unbelievable what he was able to do, with the power side of things. But he is a catcher, and I really do not see him having that type of level season that he had last year and being able to duplicate that here into this season. And he looked terrible in the World Baseball Classic for Team USA. He was absolutely awful. So, I think that's just going to be a sign of things to come this season for Kyle Raleigh. I really do, Do I think he has some great games this year? Yeah, he probably has, a couple games where he hits multiple home runs in the game. I won't be surprised. But, again, he's a catcher that takes a lot out of you, especially in the power side of things. So I don't really expect him to have that type of season he had last year. So 39.5 home runs, I don't think he's able to get the 40 plus this year. I really don't. So he probably gets in the 30s, but I just don't really see him having a really spectacular season like he did last year. Next one I got for you guys is going to be Paul Skeens. I'm going to take him over 12.5 wins this year. I am really liking how this division is shaping up in terms of how wide open the NL Central is. I really think it's up for grabs. I really think any one of these teams could come up there and win this division this year. The Brewers have been the dominant team in this division for a long time. However, I think some teams like the Reds, the Cardinals, the Pirates, I wouldn't be surprised if one of those teams comes up and steals this division this year. I really wouldn't. And I think this Pirates team here is a really, really sleeper wild card team, at least. I think they could make a run at the wild card. And if the Pirates are going to have a say in the playoffs at the end of the year, it's got to be hard to believe that they're not going to be winning every single one of Paul Skeens' starts. They got to go out there and win at least 70 to 80% of Paul Skeens' starts. They got to win those games if they're going to want to have a chance to make the playoffs this year. So 12.5 wins here for Paul Skeens. I really like this line a lot. I think this is definitely a gettable line. He's going to be an absolute workhorse for the Pirates this year. He's going to go out there and absolutely be a beast on the mound this year. I wanted to take some strikeout lines, but I think the wins line's actually a solid line here at 12.5 because, again, I think the Pirates are going to go out there and try to win every single one of his starts. I wouldn't be surprised. So, like the 12.5 line there. Next one's going to be Jacob Mizorowski over 159.5 strikeouts. And, if you guys don't know anything about this guy, he came onto this scene last year as a, up-and-coming rookie. He was a highly touted prospect, but, he did have some struggles later on in the season. But when he came up for his first couple starts in the big leagues, he was absolutely electric out there. He has throws in the hundreds, has a nasty cutter, He's got strikeout stuff. I mean, this guy's stuff is elite as elite can get. He's up there with Paul Skeens and Scooble in terms of his elite stuff that he has. So the only issue that he had last year was his command issues. He wasn't able to throw strikes consistently. He was walking guys, and that's eventually what made him go get shipped to the bullpen for some. So, hopefully he can hone in that command issues, because if he can get his command down, this guy's easily going to get 200 strikeouts. I mean, 159.5 is a steal of the line just because of the kind of guy that he is and the kind of potential that he has. I know he still has a lot to prove, but I mean, again, last year, he only made like 2 starts. He was electric in those starts, and the MLB put him in the All-Star game. So that's how crazy, of stuff that this guy has. So he has crazy stuff, elite stuff. I think he's able to get, if he's gonna live up to the potential I think he has the potential to live up to, he's gonna get 200 strikeouts this year at least. I think he easily is flirting with 200 strikeouts. So I think it's just a value line for me. I think he's able to have a good season. So Mizorowski like this line as well. So next guy I got is going to be Trey Turner over 18.5 home runs. So this is my favorite player in baseball. I've always been a huge Trey Turner fan. So, I had to throw him in here on a season prop. I mean, 18.5 home runs for this guy. He had a pretty down year last year in terms of his power numbers. He only had 15 home runs. However, in those 2 prior years before that, he had, I believe, I want to say 21 home runs in 2024. And he had 26 home runs in 2023. So, I mean, this is still a guy that I think could be in the MVP discussion at the end of the year. I mean, I know it's a little bit of bias with this pick. However, he plays in Philly. Philly's a bandbox of a ballpark. Balls can fly out of there, especially once we get in the hotter days of summer. Balls will be jumping out of there. And, I mean, Trey Turner, I'm expecting him to have a little bit more power this year. He was a guy that led the NL in batting average last year, one of the top hits leaders in the whole entire league. He gets a lot of hits. He strikes out a lot, gets a lot of hits, steals a lot of bases. He's kind of that do-it-all type of player. His power numbers were just down last year, so hopefully he can hit a little bit more home runs this year, and I do expect him to do that. So 18.5, I think he's able to get to 20 this year in terms of home runs, so really like Trey Turner a lot here. Next one is going to be Cam Schlittler over 153.5 Ks, and I mean, this is another guy. I mean, I just talked about with Mizorowski, a young and up-and-coming pitcher. Pitched a lot of games for the Yankees last year, and he actually did really, really well with some of them. He struggled in some, but majority of the time, he's been showing his electric stuff that he has, and he's got absolutely nasty stuff in his arsenal. He absolutely dices up opponents. So another line that I just feel like is too low, because I feel like this is the kind of guy that can go out there and flirt with 200 strikeouts on a season, especially if he's able to hone in his command stuff. He's similar to Mizorowski. His command can be a little erratic sometimes. Sometimes he also can get bombed sometimes. So it's one of those. He's probably going to have some games where he absolutely sucks, but I think he's going to have a lot of games this year where he's getting like 10-plus strikeouts in games. So he's got that type of stuff in his arsenal. I like it a lot. So 153.5. Again, he's another guy that could flirt with 200 strikeouts if he is having the season I think he could have. So like that one a lot as well. Closing it out here is going to be Dustin May over 120.5 Ks. And I mean, this also feels like a really, really low line for the kind of stuff that Dustin May has in his arsenal. Dustin May's been a guy that's been kind of getting screwed, especially when he was with the Dodgers. When he was with the Dodgers, you have all those all-stars in the pitching staff that he really couldn't get a lot of looks out there. He also dealt with some injuries out there, so I mean, he didn't really get a lot of looks for the Dodgers. And this is a guy that is nasty. He really is. Very, very disgusting. So he got traded to the Red Sox last year. And I just didn't feel like that was the best fit for Dustin May. I mean, I thought he was going to do well for Boston, but he had some struggles there with Boston. He couldn't really go deep into games. He would do well for like 3 or 4 innings, but every time they try to push him out there longer, he would start blowing up, losing his command. So I think this is going to be like a guy that is going to deliver some good time starts for St. Louis this year. I think St. Louis actually feels like a really, really good fit for Dustin May. So maybe he found his home. Maybe he's getting a little bit more comfortable of where he's being at. I think his spot in the starting rotation is very, very secure. I don't really see him losing his spot in the starting rotation. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is a great fit for St. Louis. Great fit for Dustin May. And 120.5 strikeouts for this season feels entirely too low for this guy. This guy has elite stuff as well. The only thing, again, similar with Schlittler and Mizrowski, his command get a little erratic sometimes. He also has some games where he gets bombed, but I mean, he's got all-star potential written all over him. He's just got to hone that stuff in. Also, injury proneness could be a little risky here as well. He's had some injuries in the past. You know, pitchers, they do tend to get hurt a good amount of times. So Dustin May's got injury history. Hopefully May can get through a season healthy. And if May gets through this whole season healthy, there's absolutely no way he's going under 120.5 strikeouts unless, it would be fluke. It would be a fluke under 120.5 strikeouts if he gets through a full season healthy, making his full amount of starts. You know, it's just entirely too low in my opinion if he does play the whole season healthy. So that's the MLB season future player props I got for you guys. Again, little appetizer to kick off the MLB season here for 2026. I love the MLB, one of my best sports, so very, very excited to get something here on the channel. Again, stay tuned for my MLB opening day player props for today's game against the Yankees and the Giants. I will have a couple player props out for that as well. And of course, Thursday opening day where everybody gets underway. Gonna be very excited for that video as well. So looking to make some noise here for the MLB season. Cannot wait to see how these props turn out for this season. I think we got some great spots, but this is just a sign of things to come here on the channel for the MLB. We're going to have many, many videos of MLB this year, so cannot wait. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.